Welcome, engineers. This is Intelligence Quest. If you're new here, we take on real technical projects and build skills that matter. Today, we're building a magic mirror. And I don't mean the kind you hang on your wall and forget about. I mean a fully functional smart display running on a Raspberry Pi, showing live time, weather, news, and whatever else you can think to throw at it. Maybe some sports scores. This thing is a conversation starter and a hands-on lesson in Linux, Node.js, process management, and application configuration. Now, I built this live, which means you're going to see me make mistakes on camera. I left it in on purpose because that's how real engineering works. You're going to run into errors. The skill is knowing how to read them, find the problem, and fix it fast. That's what makes you a good engineer. We'll walk through all of that. Here's what we're going to cover: NVM and Node.js setup, cloning the MagicMirror repo with Git and GitHub, installing dependencies, and setting up PM2 as a process manager so the mirror launches on boot and relaunches if any errors are to occur, and the full config fix that finally brought the display to life. If you want to follow along, all the commands are linked in the description below. And now let's get started. First things first, before we can run MagicMirror, we need Node.js. And the cleanest way to install Node.js is with NVM, the Node Version Manager. NVM lets you install multiple versions and specific versions of Node and switch between them, which is a huge deal when you're running multiple projects, which we may do in the future. Let's break down the command though, because this pattern comes up everywhere in Linux. The curl command makes an HTTP request to that URL. The -o- flag tells curl to output the results to the terminal instead of saving it to a file. Think of the -o as output, and now the next qualifier is where to output it to, the other dash, meaning the terminal stream. The output gets piped directly into bash with the pipe bash at the end, which runs the script in a bash shell, your current shell. So in one line, download the installer and execute it immediately, which is pretty darn cool. Now, normally after running this, you'd reload your shell so NVM is recognized. I did that behind the scenes so we could keep moving, but in your own build, just close and reopen the terminal or run source ~/.bashrc, and we'll put that in the comments below as well. Now that NVM is installed, we're going to use it to pull down the long-term support version of Node.js LTS. Means it's a stable production-grade release. Fewer surprises, longer security support window. For a project like MagicMirror, that's meant to run continuously on dedicated hardware. LTS is exactly what we want. NVM downloads the LTS version in this command and automatically sets it as our active version. Simple as that. One command and we have a full Node.js environment ready to go, which is pretty good for us on a quick project. Before we go any further, let's verify the installation actually worked. Anytime you set up a new runtime environment, this is the move. Check your versions before you build anything on top of them. If both of those respond with a version number, you're good. If you get a command not found, something went wrong with the path and you'll need to revisit the NVM install. Now let's be really clear about what these two things are because you're going to see both of them throughout this entire project. Node.js is the engine. It takes JavaScript, which was originally a browser-only language, and lets it run directly on your system. MagicMirror is a JavaScript application, so Node is what actually executes it. NPM is the toolbox. It stands for Node Package Manager, and it's how you install and manage the external libraries and code packages that your Node application depends on. Think of it like an app store for code that your project can pull from. Now we're ready to pull down the actual MagicMirror application. We do this with git clone, which copies the entire remote repository down to a local directory on your Pi. Git is going to reach out to GitHub, pull the full project source, and create a MagicMirror folder right in your current directory. Everything the app needs, the core code, configuration, templates, module structure, all of it lands locally. This is the same workflow you'd use on any open source project. The public repo is the source of truth, and now we have our own local copy with which we can configure. If you ever want to pull future updates to MagicMirror, you'd navigate into that folder and run git pull. That's the beauty of working with a cloned repo, and you can do this for all the modules as well. Before we start installing things, let's take a quick look at the directory structure. Understanding what's where is going to save you a lot of confusion when you start customizing later. The 4 locations we care most about are these. Config, this is where your main configuration file lives. It controls everything: which modules load, what data sources they utilize, where things appear on the screen. This folder is your control room. Modules. Every widget or data panel on your mirror is a module. The default ones come bundled here. Things like time, weather, messages of affirmation. There are also custom third-party modules that you'll download in the future, and we may write our own. CSS is the third folder. This holds style sheets that control the visual appearance of the mirror. If you want to customize fonts, colors, layouts beyond what the config supports, which is limited, this is where you come. And then finally, the package.json. This is the Node.js control center. It defines the project name, version, the scripts you can run, and most importantly, the list of all the external dependencies the app needs to function. NPM needs this file to know exactly what to install. And it also defines some of the commands that it supports as well. Now we install all the packages MagicMirror needs to run. Here's how this works. When you run npm run install-mm, npm looks at the script section inside package.json. That entry maps to npm install --no audit, which is what npm actually executes under the hood. The no audit flag just skips the security check to speed things up during install. I suppose it's a vulnerability security check, but we don't need this, right? This one command pulls down all the core dependencies. Let me name the big ones so you know what's actually going on in this install. Electron, this is the desktop application framework that creates the mirror's display window. Think of it as the browser wrapper that shows MagicMirror's interface on the screen. Express, a lightweight backend web server that handles the application logic running behind the scenes. Socket.io handles real-time two-way communication between the backend and the display, so the data updates happen live without page refreshes or any other issues. And then Moment.js handles all the time, date, and formatting logic you see displayed on the mirror. Once that finishes, we install one more critical tool, which is PM2. PM2 is a process manager for Node.js. Here is why this matters. For a PI that's dedicated to running a mirror, if MagicMirror crashes for any reason, PM2 detects it and restarts it automatically. We can also configure it to launch the mirror at system boot so the display comes up on its own whenever the PI powers on. No manual intervention required. Let's say there were a power cycle or some other issue that caused the PI to reboot, then your display will still be there whenever you need it. Now here's the moment where we're going to start MagicMirror inside of the Process Manager PM2 for the first time. And I want to show you something real right here. See what happened there on the first attempt? I put a space after the two dashes in the start command. -- space start in this flag instead of -- start. PM2 didn't recognize the broken flag like that, so it threw an error immediately. This kind of mistake happens to everyone, and it's one of the most common sources of cryptic CLI errors, even though it's just a fat finger, that's what we call it. Command line flags are syntax sensitive, a space where there shouldn't be one or a missing character, and the whole command breaks. The fix is simple once you spot it. Now, with the correct command, PM2 picks it up, registers the process as MagicMirror, and starts it. This is exactly the kind of error you want to catch early because the fix is fast, and it's the frustrating type of error that we all make every once in a while. Once you know what to look for, it's easy to spot though, hopefully. So this is where it gets even weirder. PM2 says it started, but the MagicMirror display never appeared. Something's wrong. This is where good troubleshooting habits matter. Don't guess, look at the data programmatically. First stop is PM2 status. This gives us a process table showing the state of everything PM2 is managing. PM2 status shows that the MagicMirror process is online. So PM2 is running it. The process manager itself did its job, but clearly then something downstream is failing because there is no display. Next level of detail, let's go to live logging. PM2 logs MagicMirror, and there it is. 6 large red error notifications. Hard to miss. Error, could not find config file. MagicMirror is launching, trying to load its configuration, and failing every single time because it cannot find the config file it's looking for. No config, no display, that's the chain. This is a great example of why logs matter. The process appeared to be running just fine from the outside. Without digging into the logs, we'd be guessing forever. The logs told us exactly what was wrong, and the next step is to fix it, right? So the app can't find the config file. Let's go look at what actually is in the config directory. And I bring up the config directory here, and there's no config.js file. There's a config.js.sample, which is the template file that ships with the MagicMirror out of the box, but the app expects a config file called config.js. And it won't load until either this file is renamed or we put a legit config.js file in there. What I chose to do was just simply remove the .sample extension because this config.js.sample is a good sample and will get us up and running. When I rename the config.js.sample to config.js, almost immediately after that rename, the MagicMirror display pops up on the screen with the sample settings loaded. Time, weather, a default layout, it's alive! That is a satisfying moment every single time. So the mirror is running, but right now if the Pi loses power or reboots, we'd have to restart it manually again. For a dedicated display device, that's not an acceptable behavior or failure mode. We want this thing to just work every time. 2 commands make this happen. PM2 save. This saves the current list of PM2 processes, including our MagicMirror, to a configuration file that PM2 can reference at startup. PM2 startup, this command detects your system's init manager and generates the exact command needed to inject PM2 into the startup sequence. It outputs a line you need to copy and run. Follow that instruction and the PM2 will register as a startup service. From this point on, every time the Pi boots, PM2 launches automatically, sees the saves process list, and starts MagicMirror. The display comes up on its own, no keyboard, no login, no manual commands, just power on and go. That's what makes this project more than just installing an app. It's a fully managed, self-recovering, auto-starting system. And there it is. MagicMirror is installed, running, auto-recovering with PM2, and loading on boot. From a fresh Pi to a fully functioning display. Here's what I want you to take away beyond just the setup itself. The process we followed today is exactly what you'll do on any serious project. Verify your environment before you start. Read the file structure before you touch anything. When something breaks, go straight to the logs and understand your commands, not just copy and paste. Those habits are what separates engineers who debug fast from engineers who spend hours guessing. Good engineers from mediocre engineers. In the next video, we're going to get into configuring the mirror, adding real data, setting up custom modules, and making things look the way we actually want them to look. If you found this useful, hit subscribe and drop a comment with the module you're most excited to set up. As is always the case, engineer, break stuff, have fun. We'll see you next time. Let's go.